And we're back in the third game of the best of three between Fredi and Gummi, and what a series this has been so far. A back and forth. It is now tied 1-1 with Fredi proving that he is a very, very strong challenger indeed, and that he might even be able to win the series and move up in the ranks even further. So he really used his time quite well. Of all the newer players, he has made the most progress and can now really play with the big boys. Now we have Fredi, of course, in the blue over here. He is playing as the Turks this time. So we might see some scouts from him. We might see castle drop into Janissaries, or maybe even the late game cavalry archers, because the Turks actually have very, very good cavalry archers. Gummi, on the other hand, he has the Koreans, so he might want to go for some towers, or maybe some archers, because I think the archer armor upgrade is still free. They keep on changing this so often that it's hard to keep track. Yes, exactly. Archer armor upgrades are for free, so I think it's very strong to open with archers for Koreans. Or skirmishes, even if your opponent goes for archers, because you already have that +1 defense. But let's see what those players will be going for. Still, towers could be a strong option. And then in the late game, he might even go for war wagons, which would be a very good counter to the cavalry archers if Fredi goes for that. Other than that, he could just go for gunpowder, he could go for bombard cannons and hand cannoneers, which would also be a strong option in combination with hussars. Remember, the Turks get the upgrade to light cav and hussar for free, so really there is always this easy opportunity to switch to hussars. Okay, yes, very nicely done. Now Fredi even using the town center to shoot down the elephant here, and that's something that even the pro players, even the very best, did not do until, I don't know, a couple of months ago. Everyone started to do this because it's just a little bit more efficient and reliable than just shooting them with your villagers like normal. But still, that shows great promise here for Fredi, as he's already adapting also the really advanced tricks that really only benefit you a little bit, but all of these small advantages and benefits just add up, and in the end you can come out on top. Now, Fredi, of course, being cute with his moves, is now one villager behind. And that's the thing, like if you try to go for these fancy strategies, in the end it might work out in such a way that you're behind because you focus too much on controlling your units. Now, what we realize here is that Gummi does not have loom yet, so this scout might be a little bit annoying here, might be a little bit pesky. Also, if Gummi tries to take this elephant, this might be a possibility that the scout blocks the villager, so he might just camp here. But I don't think that we're not quite in this advanced stage yet. But this is something that might come at some point when Fredi will maybe just do also these advanced tricks. Gummi should really take in the next elephant, because this elephant is almost at the end. So usually at around 100 food at least, I think a little bit more depending on the distance, you should already get the next one in. Because all of these villages will just go idle, and now he will realize, oh yeah, I really need to get the elephant, and now what is he doing? Okay, he's gonna take it at the mill, which is okay, but yeah, it's just not very clean, and also these villagers, okay, now he has loom, so it's fine, he can do this, will still be very efficient, so overall, this move is a good recovery. But now, while he was microing over here, all of these villagers went idle. He now goes for his trusted barracks into a drush strategy, which so far has not paid off too well in the games that we've seen by him. Also against Der Vasal, if you have seen that series, so it's also coming up on this channel, or is already up, depending on the upload schedule. And yeah, so let's see if he will make something happen here. And again, now he finally has thought about the gold count for once, and he brings in the additional 10 gold that he needs to get the third militia. Nowadays, for the very pro players, we've even seen that they only go for 2 militia. They don't even go for the third one. They just go for 2, and that is enough for them to just harass the opponent, just delay the opponent a little bit. You're not really thinking about killing any villages. You're just trying to be annoying, and the 2 militia are just that. However, of course, you need to be very, very good and do some very good micromanagement over here. Now, something mechanic that most people or like newer players don't know is that when you build something with a villager, okay, it's not a house, but if you build a farm with a villager, you can actually drop off the resources that the villager is currently having. So that's a handy trick. So if you had your gold miners, you can just retask them, build farms, and then I think the resources are automatically being dropped off. And the same might apply to the camps. Yeah, I think also these resource gathering points also work in the same way. Now, Gummi Bear going out here while his Drush is on the front, causing some havoc. We see some panic walls over here. These villagers, yeah, they're basically driven off of the berries, but Fredi is already in the next age and he will be able to drop down the stable, and then the militia will just look silly because Gummi Bear is not even on the way up to the feudal age, and he can't even make enough damage to make this worth it. And instead he should make sure that he really fights this with his militia, because his scout is much weaker. Scouts get some extra attack and some extra speed once they reach the feudal age. So it's important to, sometimes in scout fights you need to pay close attention if your opponent is advancing. Now finally Gummi Bear is on the next way to the next age, but the scouts will be out, and this can be really dangerous here for Gummi Bear. He should attack this foundation. Now he's a little bit too late, so but he can just switch his attention to the wood line. So definitely the militia did cause some damage, but it massively delayed the feudal age timing of Gummi Bear. And I don't think that in the end this will be worth it. Once the scouts are out and the scouts are able to harass, Fredi panicking. Oh no! Oh god! Just wasting 100 wood. And he is already starved for wood. Oh, villager going down here by these militia. Okay, Fredi is falling apart. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. And that sometimes still happens for Fredi. He's like completely flustered and doesn't know what to do. But overall, I think his earlier uptime should still give him the advantage, should still enable him to find some damage there. Now, these militia, or these, yeah, are still roaming around, but I don't think they will find too much more damage. The houses get some extra HP in the feudal age, and so this will take quite a while until this is better down. But still, Fredi needs to make sure that he is able to repair that. Now the scouts are in, and the scouts might find some villages here, but it's only 2 scouts. They only have the +1 extra pierce armor that the Turks get. Could lame the zebra at least. So I think Gummi Bear can basically just fight this. Yes, he will lose a villager here, but 2 scouts on their own are not too scary. Now the man-at-arms upgrade is in for Gummi Bear, which is usually worth it if you still have all of your militia still remaining. But still, he needs to get something in defense. He's not reacting here, and oh, 1 villager additionally going down. Another one might go down here. No reaction from Gummi Bear at all. He will look back and he will be like, oh, where did my villagers go? Because this one will also not survive, and that is huge. Fredi taking the villager lead, and I think this alone is enough for Fredi to basically go back into this game. Gummi Bear not even trying to save this villager, and now the spearman is basically useless. Just leave him here. Just leave him close to where your actual resources are, or send them out to the wood line. That's way more important than trying to save villages that don't exist anymore. Now these men-at-arms, they might do some damage on the berries. Yes, some hits, but in the end they can't do too much. And now the scouts are in on the wood line, and we see kind of an inverse of the mega random game, where the scouts, I mean, what is Gummi Bear doing? Just fight the scouts, at least fight them. Don't let your villagers just die. You're just letting them die. You're just too cute with your men-at-arms. Just leave them on stand ground like they always are. Oh, and don't lose everything you have. 28 to 23 villagers. And this is it, basically. And now these they will just die. Yep, one is dead. And yeah, I think that Fredi now has a good position. He was really flustered, dropping the mining camp over here instead of the lumber camp earlier. But now the farming eco looks good. Still having some villagers going out for the berries. Might be picked off, but that's not happening. Now he's bringing the scouts back. I mean, at some point he could just clear this up, just to not have to deal with this anymore. He now has 6 villagers queued, so I think it would be better to cancel a few villagers and maybe produce some more scouts to get rid of these men-at-arms. But yeah, Gummi really, falling behind here in terms of villager count, although he has caught up a little bit more, because he just didn't react. There was no reaction. Like, 2 scouts should never do anything. To be honest, 2 scouts should maybe kill 1 villager and weaken another, but then 2 scouts is just not enough to really be that scary. Let's see how it looks here. Yes, I think the spearmen. But always, you need to always also fight with your villagers. If they're being attacked, just fight them. If you have 4 villagers and 2 scouts attack, just fight. That's always worth it. And with spearmen, you always want to position them around strategic locations. So this woodline is exposed, so you might want to have a spearman close to that woodline, so that once the scouts move in, the spearman is already there. Now Gummi launching a counterattack. He has 3 archers and 2 spearmen. So this one I like much more than in the other game where he just sent the archers forward. But Fredi now also preparing the archery ranges. He has 1 archery range, pumping out the archers. But Gummi has fletching, and since he is the Koreans, he already has the armor upgrade. So in terms of upgrades, he clearly has the advantage, and he could kill the scout if he realizes. Yes, he does. And now what he needs to do is hit the wood line if possible. Let's go to his point of view if he knows this. Yeah, he does not know yet. But yeah, some scouts. This will be a pivotal engagement in this game. So far, not looking too good for Fredi maybe. But yeah, what Fredi will be able to do is pick off maybe stray reinforcements, but he is losing all the archers in the process, and there are still 2 spearmen here. And this could be really disastrous for Fredi. He engages the spearmen. Okay, he kills 1, but basically loses all the scouts in the process. And suddenly it looks very good for Gummi, even though he's behind in economy. He now has the opportunity to make something happen. He can just sit on the wood line or sit on the berries again. He still has the men-at-arms over here, so he knows that villagers are on the berries. So why not just go over there and kill them instead of losing your archers, your precious archers, to the town center. So yeah, Gummi really has the opportunity to make something happen. He can maybe hit the gold if he knows about the gold. Yes, he sees the mining camp, so he knows that there's something to be done here, and now more scouts are coming out. And now I don't think it's enough in terms of spearmen, because there's only 1 spearman, which was, of course, as is customary, on stand ground. And we don't see any micromanagement there for Gummi really. Now he's going up to the hill, yes, but I think all the archers will just be cleared up, and the momentum shifts again into the favor of Fredi, who's showing us his micromanagement skills. What a nerd, but instead of micromanagement, he maybe should have saved his mill, because this is just annoying, losing the mill like that. Oh man, and this man-at-arms still could do something, but not anymore. Finally, the man-at-arms is being killed, but now this is annoying. He needs to build another mill to collect from these berries, which is still worth it. I mean, it's still 125, 30, 64, 18, and then I think there's maybe another one, but it's still worth it. Just get the mill, because anyways you need it for farm upgrades. And now we've transitioned into a full-out feudal war. We have spearmen, we have scouts, we have archers. These archers will be killed off by the scouts. Let's look at the upgrade scouts. Of course, they do have the +1 pierce armor, and that's just a very strong bonus for the Turks. They're just able to, without any further upgrades, they're able to do so much more. And here we also see that archers have a bonus damage against spearmen, which is why they were killed off so quickly and easily. Still, Fredi having a 3 villager or 4 villager advantage, and he has, I would say, overall the better army because the scouts, I would value the scouts higher than the same number of spearmen. And so I think in a straight up engagement, Fredi would win this engagement. And then he could really find some more damage, but I think what would be better for him is just to loop around. He knows that there's the wood line over here, so he can just hit this again. Now let's look at the micro skill. If there is any micro skill, no micro skill, just free damage. So yes, still kind of an even trade maybe, but now the scouts did exactly what I proposed. And yeah, there's no answer for Gummi Bear. He will lose all of these villagers, and then the scouts can just move to the next wood line. I think Fredi will see this at some point. Let's see that. No, he does not know that, but still he can. Yeah, he now sees the lumber camp, so he knows he can go there. No reaction from Gummi Bear, who is going up to the Castle Age, but I think it's going to be more of a Castle Age into GG at this point. Look at this, and he's not reacting again. Like, what are you doing? Just, like, you cannot fight this. Just go back with your villagers. Just go back. There's nothing to be had here. Just go to the town center and hide in shame. There's one cute archer sitting over here, denying the wood income a little bit over here, and the main army of Gummi Bear is of course here sitting on this pesky hill in the front of Fredi's base, but I think it's gonna be cleaned up by the scout eventually, and the archer. Yes, indeed. And these scouts, they're still there, and just trickling in spearmen is just not enough. Now, let's see if Gummi Bear can produce a couple of knights. No, he does not have a stable. Instead, he is going for the crossbowman upgrade. And, I don't know, I would have loved to see a wall over here. Now, he will basically have no wood income at all. Luckily for him, he has a lot banked up, but he will just lose so many villagers again. Like, this villager will go down, this might go down, this one might go down, and he's just running out here with villagers to gather wood in the weirdest of places. And so I think that even if the crossbowman upgrade is in, yeah, it's nice, but this will not save him overall. But if he just keeps on losing so many villages. Now look at this, 51 to 30. So I think that Fredi could just almost stay feudal age and just finish it off this way with enough military. And he's losing another villager here. Are you real, Gummi Bear? Where is he? And you have a crossbowman here. You have a crossbowman here, and you lose another villager. No way, Gummi Bear. Where is your attention? Oh man, finally garrisoning, but like the damage is already done. Like 2 villagers down for nothing. Now all this idle time because the villagers are still garrisoned. Yeah, nothing. I don't see it for Gummi Bear. I don't see it. He has 29 villagers. That's Food Please-esque. I mean, he's trying to be the new Food Please, as we've seen in the previous games, but yeah, he's not finding any damage on the front because there's a nice wall off over here. Now there's a tower coming down for Fredi. Maybe we'll see one or 2 villages go down, but I don't think. Yeah, maybe one going down. But now the tower is up. He tries to move underneath the tower, but I don't know if that's really the play here. Because then you're really immobile, and you see that all these archers can just range the crossbowmen, and now the scouts are sweeping in, and they can just clean up the crossbowmen, no problem. Yes, crossbowmen are stronger than archers, but still, it's just not enough. This forward army is stopped, except for the 2 spearmen. And look at this bad lumber camp. I mean, this was just a panic move, and all the trees are already gone. He really needs to go back to this lumber camp and drop a town center. You need a town center. And go back to this one. Why not go back to this one? This is close to your town center. Just move your villages there. Now, Fredi is in the Castle Age, and he can produce knights. And that's, I think, what he will be doing. If you go to his point of view, no, he is he is sneaky. He's going for crossbowman upgrade and thumbring of all things. So his crossbowman will fire faster. So that's quite a interesting prioritization. I think instead you should first go for bodkin arrow, and then I think before thumbring, ballistics is more important. And then you get thumbring as the last major upgrade in Castle Age. Well, except for the armor upgrade, which is maybe the least important. But yeah, still a pretty close game. Both players have shown some nice moves over here. Now, Gummi Bear having his castle up, so I like this very much. He will be able to produce the war wagons. And war wagons, they're just so tanky. They can be super scary. If they're masked up, there's very little you can do, especially if you have mainly crossbowmen. Crossbowmen are just getting shredded by the war wagons. But now that Fredi is in the Castle Age, you notice that all of these scouts are actually light cavalry, and if you look at the stats, they are scary. Now they have more attack, they have 80 HP now with the bloodlines. No, this is even without bloodlines, I think. No, this is with bloodlines. I'm confused. And yeah, so that's just a scary dynamic there. Yeah, on the other hand, Fredi now adding the second town center, so he's going for a more boomy approach. He anyways has more villagers. And Gummi Bear Green, he really needs to do some kind of one town center push, or he needs to drop 3 town centers immediately, or else he will just lose everything. Because again, this wood line is a complete disaster. He now has some war wagons out, which will be very good. War wagons actually have a 9 attack. Okay, I didn't realize that they have in Castle Age already have so much attack. 150 HP and then 3 base pierce armor, so they can just shred the crossbowmen. Crossbowmen have nothing against the war wagons. They're a little bit clunky to micromanage. They're like the war galleys of the land. But yeah, I think this army now for Gummi Bear is stronger. But he's rather slow and a little bit, yeah, the units are getting into each other's way a little bit. But he needs to make something happen fast, because remember, look at the economy. Fredi is 57 to 38 villages, so really he needs to make something happen there. Gummi Bear also losing all the spearmen, but they weren't so valuable anyways. And he should maybe just fight with the war wagons. Just leave the archers behind and just fight with the war wagons, because as I said, there's basically no damage here. They have 5 armor against 7 attack, so it's only 2 attack or 2 damage per hit there by the crossbowman. Now the castle is going to go up here by Fredi, and then Fredi may go for some Janissary, although I think against the war wagons it's maybe not the best unit. I think he should instead, what he could do against the war wagons is go for camels, or just, I don't know, just light calf. I think if you mass light calf against just a couple of war wagons, this is still fine. He of course cannot go for elite skirmishes, as the Turks don't have elite skirmishes. But I think just the cavalry option is probably the best overall. Just go for a lot of cavalry. He could even go for knights. And then the war wagons are not so scary anymore, especially if they're not really pressuring you. I mean, look at this. They're attacking an archery range, which is, it's fine if they will go down eventually. But he's not doing any real damage. He would need to loop all the way around, and then he could hit the economy of Fredi. But that's not what he's doing, and on the contrary, the light cav's in, but basically does nothing anymore for Gummi Bear. Gummi Bear has learned his lesson. He's not going to be on these wood lines anymore. Instead, he's finally dropping a town center on this wood line. He has a town center now on this wood line. So he is well in this game. He has a very strong unit. And yeah, he just needs to maybe find some damage. That's the only thing he's missing. But he's banging his head against the wall on this left-hand side. He's really not finding the right angle of attack. Although he has this one war wagon sitting underneath the tower. That's quite cute. And he needs to make sure that you react to this. He needs to react to this. Nope. 1 village down. 2 villages down, 3 villages down, 4 villages down, I think. No, well, it could have been 4, but already 3 is more than enough. And we see this reaction time is basically what's costing him the game. And Gummi Bear, like, he saw the attack just now. He saw the attack, so he must have realized that, okay, they're going somewhere. No, he did not. So another villager getting killed off here. In the meantime, Gummi Bear trying to find some damage. I think he's on staggered formation for some reason, but with the war wagons, it's just a huge clump of units. He's not finding too much damage. This tower has finally been destroyed by this lonely war wagon. But now against this mass of archers, even the war wagons, the mighty war wagons, are not good enough. You need more of them. So basically what he needs is a second castle to produce from 2 castles. Still, close game overall, even though Gummi Bear is consistently behind in terms of villages, and now also consistently behind in terms of military count. Now Fredi coming in here with his light cav and the crossbowman, and I think he can demolish this army, no problem. Even though the light cav lack an armor upgrade, so they could have 5 pierce armor, it doesn't matter. He still is able to clean up this entire army, and now Gummi Bear is only left with 17 military, 51 villagers. So the momentum and the advantage is clearly in the favor of Fredi, and I hope that Gummi Bear reacts. Just react. This once. Okay, he does react finally. And yeah, what he also needs is ballistics. Because you saw that he was missing all the shots there by his war wagon. And that's really not good, especially if you want to defend from raiding units such as light cavalry. And yeah, you can see that the war wagons are strong, but the light cav can just also take them out if they're out in the open, if they're all alone, and if they're not being microed properly. And let's see if there's gonna be more villager kills here, which might very well happen. Yes, another villager going down. So these light cav have really done their deed. Finally they go down. But the next clump of units is already in the front, and we see the fabled Janissary. Very strong unit, as I mentioned in the Nomad game. But yeah, I think against the warrior, they're fine against the war wagons. I mean, they have such a high pierce damage, which is 17, that they still do a lot of damage. But I don't think it's the optimal unit against the war wagons, maybe. And I think Fredi, at this point, he should think about Imperial Age, which I think he clearly is doing. Looking at his resources, he wants to go to Imp. Because then he can also easily push this castle. I think he needs to be patient, basically. Go to Imp. He gets chemistry for free, so he can just build some bombard cannons, and then bombard cannons can just shred everything that Gummi Bear has. They're also good against the war wagons and against the archers. So yeah, I think that's exactly what is on the mind of Fredi. He is dropping the siege workshop forward. He is going Imperial Age. He's already 10% on the way. Gummi Bear now only now going for Elite Skirm. And Elite Skirm is terrible against Light Cav. So Light Cav really counters Elite Skirmishes. And then also Bombard Cannons really demolish Elite Skirmishes. So it's an uphill battle here for Gummi Bear, but he is not out of this game yet. He can still try to reboom back into this, spread out his economy, and then if he gets a nice defense, like kills a lot of units for free basically, then he can still make this happen. But he also needs a lot of upgrades, ballistics. I'm not sure if he has thumb ring, which the Koreans actually do get. And yeah, it looks like he has thumb ring, so we can see that here in this overlay. So that's a very nice addition actually. Oh, the fabled box formation. Finally, we see the box formation with the Janissaries on the inside. Then we have the crossbowmen on the outside. We do have the light cavalry. That is a very cute formation. I just wonder why the Janissaries are on the inside. Well, maybe because they have more range, because they have 8 range, whereas crossbowmen only have 7 range. So you see the strength of Janissaries, like they have more HP, more range, more melee armor, and more damage. Of course, they fire slower, but still, they're a very, very strong unit. Basically, archers on crack. Now I think Fredinovic will reach Imperial Age any minute now, and then he will be able to pump out the bomber cannons. I think Fredi got this for ballistic or for chemistry, and now he realizes that he does not have chemistry in there because it's already researched. And so, yeah, he could go for bomber cannons, but his queue is empty because he doesn't have the wood. He's really struggling for wood, so all of this, instead of building the university, he should have just saved the wood for the bombard cannon. But now the light cav has been upgraded to Hussar, and that's just makes them even stronger. It's just a minor upgrade, just a little bit more HP, but still, it's for free for the Turks, so it's definitely a very good thing to have. And at this point, it's maybe not even worth it to make knights. If you compare the stats, yes, knights still a little bit better, but honestly, they're basically doing the same at this point. And due to the high attack of the Janissaries, they can also easily counter skirmishes because they can just punch through the pierce armor. However, Fredi needs to make sure that he doesn't lose everything to the town center fire over here. So this is kind of a mistake by him. He's just standing inside of the circle of the town center. He really needs to wait for siege, but instead of going for siege, in this position, just sell a bit of food and just buy a little bit of wood. And then instead of going for the trap, just go for the bomber cannon. Bomber cannons, yeah, they're more expensive, but they're more flexible. It's just faster. Get 3 bomber cannons and you can push this in no time. Of course, you can supplement it with a trap, but I would prioritize bomber cannons. In the meantime, we have a raid over here by a couple of war wagons in the back of Fredinovic's base by Gummi, and the war wagons still continue to be a very strong unit. They're not that easily counted, so even just 4 war wagons project a lot of power into this area of the economy of Fredinovic, but I think at this point he just doesn't care anymore. He has his foothold on the front, he has the castle on the front, he has enough economy. Now villager counts are even, but the traps are already out, and I think that Gummi Bear is nowhere near going up to the next stage. Although saying that he has 3,000 gold in the bank, he should just buy some food and go up to the next stage. Basically the refusal to use the market sometimes is baffling. Just use the market whenever you feel like it. It's almost never a bad call to balance your economy in these situations. Basically never. Unless you know that the game is gonna go for like 10 hours and you need to save every bit of gold, but overall you should just spend your gold if you have too much. Now the war wagons are being cleared up here by the hussars. Still, war wagons doing an excellent job, but the hussars I think eventually will clean this up. And remember, hussars don't cost gold, so this is basically for free. This cleanup is completely for free, and at the same time, Fredi is absolutely pushing here. The traps will kill this castle, and then he can focus on the town center and the other castle, and this push will just continue on rolling. However, as I said, couple bombard cannons would have been nice, because the bombard cannons can much easier transition to the next target, as these traps probably, at least this one probably needs to reposition before it can hit the castle. Okay, this one actually can hit the castle, so that's a nice position there actually. Still, Gummi now heavily housed. Remember, castles do give pop space, and sometimes people don't realize that and they lose their castles. And really, Fredi, that's one thing I want to see from him, is put these on stand ground. Just put them on stand ground, not on defensive stands. Janissaries should be put on stand ground. They have a long range. Just put them here, stand ground. And that's enough. They can defend from anything, because the war wagons have 6 range. They have 7 range. They can outrange anything. So there's no reason not to put them on stand ground in this position. Yeah, Gummi getting housed, as I said, because he lost all the castles, and he's not realizing that he's heavily housed until it's too late, basically. He's not even dropping any houses at all, is he? Fredi just going for more hussars. His push is kind of tapered off, and that is because he just lost a lot of units here for free. Look at this. Because he has them on defensive stance, they always run forward, and then they get hit. Then they run back, run forward again, get hit again. He could have kept all of the Janissaries alive, basically. And now he dropped the Siege Workshop in the front, but in the end didn't do anything with it. So yeah, kind of questionable move. But I think in the end it doesn't matter because this castle will eventually fall. Yes, Gummi Bear is still repairing, but with the second trap now firing on the castle soon, I think it's just one more shot, or this shot will do it exactly. And now the castle is down, and now basically Fredi, which has free reign. The Khazars are in, and yeah, that's GG. Gummi Bear calls it, and can you believe it, Fredi, which also finishing off Gummi Bear Grün. What is this this performance by Fredi, which I can't believe it. He is now has now made it out of the ranks of the peasants and into the ranks of the big boys. He can just contest with all of them basically. So nicely done on him. Of course, Gummi Bear can still advance to the next round. He needs to I think he needs to win against Vassal and Tyrant Q, but that should be very much doable for Gummi Bear Grün. Alright, what an amazing series, what an amazing game. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I hope to see you soon.